Let's talk about she power. This is one of the Sassy She oracle cards, which by Lisa Lister, who I highly recommend. She's my guru, my teacher. We're all gurus, we're all our own teachers, but she's definitely one of my special teachers. Look how amazing, look at that. And I've used her so much, it's all covered in red wax, which I just think is very apt and lovely. And she power is Foxy over here. It's the birds. It's this lush grass. It's Mama Earth. And then it's also our womb space, this pelvic bowl, seat of power. Because we were tricked by patriarchy into thinking that we weren't important. It's like the yin and yang, right? It's balanced. We were both given different gifts. One was given the gift of strength. They can open the jam jars, they can kill the animals, they can chase the things, they can do all of the heavy loading. And then there was the other, which was softer and nurturing and caring and could look after the children and bring up lives. But more than that, they could magically make human beings out of their body. I mean, and are connected on some other level, in this emotional level, in this other plane, this other set of sensory stuff that we've now been tricked by patriarchy into thinking is like not real. It's not real to them because they don't get it, because they don't feel it. They don't feel it. They don't feel like, I mean, I literally can feel the moment a drop of estrogen hits my bloodstream. I can feel it. Like everything in me changes, you know, and I go through 4 different phases in my cycle. Once I've bled, and I've bled all my hormones out, for a week I'm a man. So I know what it feels like to be a man, because for a week I just have testosterone in my bloodstream. I can feel it. Once you go through the menopause, you just have testosterone in your bloodstream. You're a man. So we know what it feels like to be a man. And we know because we're in the world of men. We know what the world of men feels like. We are, that aspect of us is fully functioning and aware. And then there's this other bit of us that we were told is like supernatural and doesn't really exist and is like made up nonsense and blah, blah, blah. No, bullshit. So then you have the waxing moon, which is where you got waxing moon is testosterone. That's where you feel like you can do anything, and that's when the Tampax adverts should really be made for, where you're like rollerblading around and just like, oh, I can do anything, la la la. And then you have the estrogen start coming into your bloodstream, and then you start to ovulate, and then you're like supremely powerful. And now, like that I don't use a contraceptive pill and I actually ovulate. Those days, it's like 2 or 3 days, like at the peak, like kind of around day 13, 14 of my cycle, and I have a 24-day cycle, but it's still around sort of 13, 14, it still seems to be. I just like have men falling at my feet, and women. I think it does affect women as well, and it's like they can smell it, you know, they can just smell it, and like young, hot guys who wouldn't be looking at me the rest of the month are suddenly all like, and I'm like, and apparently your body slightly changes, but there's so much they don't know about it. They don't know what the signs are, but there must be some kind of scent. There's something, but your like hips become slightly curvier and your face becomes slightly curvier, but it's really subtle, and yet somehow we know. And then you really start to get hit with a lot of estrogen, and estrogen is what makes you really hate bullshit. Makes you very short-tempered and makes you really not want to suffer fools, and it's the wise woman in the older years when you go from menopause and you're just like, sod this nonsense, and you have that, but then the progesterone comes in to try and soothe you, to try and help you, and it's the pregnancy hormone that you get when you're pregnant, but it's when it realizes that it's not happening, it kind of just soothes the ride for you. It's like, oh, I'll just take the edge off that estrogen for you. And then you go into your bleed, and there's this beautiful moment just before the bleed where like they just all switch off, because it just becomes like this cacophony of progesterone trying to beat the estrogen from like turning you into a savage. And then like there's just this moment just as you go to bleed where it's obviously all just gone down into your womb space, and then it's all just going to come out, and you just have this like and then it all comes out and you just let yourself die, and then you, for a moment, you're male again for a bit, and then you become female again. I mean, what an amazing dance, you know? And it's like, imagine that, you know, sometimes I see myself as a man being here on a trip of being a woman. It's like, this is a crazy trip. Like, what an amazing thing to be and to be part of. And then for it to be so connected to the cycles of the earth and how they work, how the earth works. We're so connected to it. Men kind of could be from anywhere, you know. I'm sure that they would get really affected still. You know, apparently you'd get really crazy jet lag if you were in, like, on another planet, because it would have different moon cycles and it would have different seasons, and, like, you know, we sort of just take it for granted that that would be fine, but actually we've literally grown from atom-sized beings into the beings we are with these cycles, following these cycles. It's intrinsic to us. So who knows how we'll cope with that, whether it's even possible. But I feel like men would be able to cope better because they're less connected to this. Men are a side product, by the way, as well. This whole Adam and Eve thing is just nonsense. The default setting's female. So there are lots of beings in the animal kingdom and in the natural world that don't have masculine others to impregnate them. They don't have that relationship. They just produce themselves. And there's no man version of that. That doesn't exist. The default setting is female, and if they find it useful on the journey of evolution to, for shits and giggles, make a man, then they do. But it's literally an add-on. So no wonder they're a bit panicked and scared of us. It's the same as our consciousness as an add-on. We were like not conscious, like animals aren't conscious, having a lovely old merry old time, and then we decided to add consciousness in as an add-on, and then that is the bit of you that's like scared, that is under attack and is anxious and is freaking out that it's going to be killed, something's out to get it, because at some point we might decide to not have it anymore. So it's like trying to protect itself. It's like, no, I am you, I'm so important, I am you. And it's the same with men. It's like, oh no, we're very important, you can't do that. I mean, in fact, we're more important than you. And it's like, well, we made you for shits and giggles to entertain us. We could maybe decide to not have you anymore. It's possible, actually it's possible. But it wouldn't be possible for them to do it without us. So, of course they're scared. But, you know, we love them and their little willies. Some of us, you know, not everyone. But, what a wonderful thing, eh? She power. And it's just been so squished and like it's just a joke. When you start plugging into it and becoming aware of it and knowing how fucking powerful we are, it's just like, well, you had to put us down, didn't you? Because otherwise you might not have been able to sleep at night. So yeah, here's some she power love from me to you. What a wonderful, wonderful thing.